You know this car from a very long era before you were born. Your parents drove it, your grandparents drove it, your uncles and aunts know it. It was a name that no one ever noticed before in their life. In 1995, Mitsubishi made the Pajero, also known as the Mitsubishi Shogun in Spanish, in Mexico. In South Korea, it was called the Hyundai Galloper, but in the Canadian nations, it was called the Mitsubishi Montero. And pretty much everyone else in the Philippines knows it as the Mitsubishi Pajero. This is the story of how this Mitsubishi station wagon dominated the most grueling off-road race in history. So let us begin with the story. In 1980s, Mitsubishi competed in one of the most grueling off-road races that took about 15 days to cross from Paris all the way to Senegal, Spain, which is called the Paris to Senegal Dakar Rally. What is it all about anyway? Well, it's this 15-day off-road race that takes place in Paris, France, all the way to Senegal, Spain. And how did Mitsubishi do it? How did they win? Well, one thing for sure is the Mitsubishi Montero done it all. But how is that possible? How did this family-oriented off-road station wagon dominated the most grueling off-road race in history? Well, some car manufacturers say that this is no joke. It was real. This diesel hauler of a family truck, it took on one of the most daring off-road races that took place in Paris, France, all the way to Senegal, Spain, thus giving it a birth name that no one ever expected. The Mitsubishi Montero goes by the name King of the Desert, or should I say King of the Dunes. But why? Why choose this model? Well, it is simple. The Mitsubishi Montero from 1995 was built with a body-on-frame chassis build. That's right, this SUV was built as a body-on-frame vehicle, specialized to handle the worst kinds of terrains, similar to Nissan's legendary Safari Patrol and Toyota's mighty Land Cruiser. Although the Land Cruiser dominated first as the most capable off-road vehicle in Japan, the Nissan Safari Patrol was king of the Arabian nations and Middle East countries, while the Montero, it dominated the desert and the dunes. That's why they call it King of the Dunes. Let me explain. The Mitsubishi Montero was powered by a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated 4D54T diesel engine, a power plant so mid-sized that no one even knows why. This 2.25-ton truck may be one of the slowest, but it's one of the most capable, dominating the dunes ever since it took on the Dakar Paris to Senegal race for 15 days, and it ran that race in the unmodified diesel class. I'm serious. This stocked up family cruiser took on the dunes as an unmodified diesel vehicle. Very crazy and very wild. And here's the story of how it really took off. This thing dominated them all. It humiliated most race cars, and guess what? In 1999, they made something possible, something no one ever knew it could even happen. The Mitsubishi Montero Evolution. You heard me right. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evo's name was now presented into the Pajero, thus giving its own spin-off name, Mitsubishi Pajero Evo. Like the Pajero, or should I say Montero, the Montero got the name Mountain Hunter because why? In Canada, they rewrite the Mitsubishi Pajero's name to Montero because Pajero sounded in Spanish as wanker, so they said Mountain Hunter for Montero instead. Here's the wild story that no one has ever explained to most cars enthusiasts. The Mitsubishi Montero was basically the most unstoppable 4x4 that dominated the dunes for almost 15 days. From the 80s to 90s, this SUV didn't just haul families, tools, farming equipment, and tents. This thing carried a legacy that no one has ever gone up to explain itself. But the Montero, it doesn't need to announce, it doesn't need to explain, it doesn't need to know when to do it. It just learns how to think twice. Although most people prefer the 4D 54T diesel power plant, this Mitsubishi Montero can either be fitted with a V6 for different kinds of models, and this one in particular came to the US for the 1995 model, which is the very same one that was actually previewed from the Dakar Rally, which is quite sensational because this off-road vehicle may be unmodified for the dunes, but it worked. This underrated classic wasn't just a family-built hauler that your mom and dad took you to school in. It's a legend. The Mitsubishi Montero compares itself to its other rivals such as the Nissan Safari Patrol and Toyota's legendary Land Cruiser, Jeep Wrangler, and the Ford Bronco, the Land Rover. And in fact, the Mitsubishi Montero was the only car to dominate the Dakar Rally in just about that 15-day race. I'm serious. 15 days of racing in an unmodified SUV built with its body bolted onto the frame. It was so hard and so fast that no one has ever think about an SUV dominating such a grueling off-road 15-day race. Some SUVs may have conquered the luxurious world, the off-road world, and the family life, but the Mitsubishi Montero, that was different. It took on the Paris to Senegal race in just about 15 days. Imagine that, driving this thing to Paris from Senegal, Spain in just about 15 days without stopping or having any problems is quite surprising for most off-road enthusiasts who just take this car on short family trips from state to state, but not from country to country. That would be insane. The story itself gets wilder and wilder. While the Mitsubishi Montero was known to be different from the 1995 Mitsubishi Pajero, there was only one coincidental fact. The Mitsubishi Montero, being named King of the Dunes, is unheard of. No one has ever heard of the story, but some people do. The motorsporting legend of an SUV dominating a 15-day grueling off-road race from Paris to Senegal, Spain, is one of the wildest and captivating stories an SUV lover has owned. The Mitsubishi Montero, King of the Desert, it wasn't just random, it was true. The raw simplicity of an SUV like this, it surely has given an era of how SUVs prove themselves as a mighty workhorse than just being a family cruiser. Although most SUV fans never heard of a Mitsubishi SUV that was taking on a 15-day off-road race in an unmodified diesel power, that was something insane, something undeterred. The Mitsubishi Montero proves something. It can tackle the dunes far more than a dune buggy could handle, and that is a story no one has ever replayed in their life. They only imagine the story, but the story is inspirational. Sure, it is hard to believe that this car could survive the dunes for at least a 15-day off-road race from Paris to Senegal, Spain was one of the wildest and underlined underdog stories of all time. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you go comment, like, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!